Have you ever wondered why, on an escalator, the handrail seems to move slightly faster than the steps under your feet? That is not your imagination. It is part of the design. As the steps carry your lower body forward, inertia makes the rest of your body want to lean slightly backward. That is why the handrail moves just a little faster than the steps. It helps counter that backward pull and keeps you more balanced as you ride. And that is only one tiny part of it. Look down at the steps. Those ridged lines on the surface are not just there for texture, they help keep the moving gaps tight and predictable, which lowers the chance of shoelaces or loose fabric getting pulled in. Then at the top and bottom, you have those comb plates, the tooth-like metal pieces where the steps disappear. They mesh with the grooves to help guide shoes and debris away from the danger zone. And those side brushes are there for a reason too. They discourage your feet from drifting too close to the edges. So an escalator is really a chain of tiny safety decisions, and those details matter more than most people realize. Sometimes one loose shoelace or one distracted step is all it takes. And right next to it is another machine packed with design choices people barely notice. That tiny hole on the outside of some elevator doors, that is not some weird manufacturing leftover. It is part of the emergency door release system. If an elevator stalls and trained technicians need to unlock the outer door from the hallway side, that tiny hole is where the special key goes. In other words, even something as plain as an elevator door is hiding a safety system most people never notice. And that same idea shows up in something you touch all day, your phone. Most people use their phones all day without noticing how many tiny choices make typing a little easier. I'm not talking about hidden settings. I mean the small tricks that make texting feel smoother. Have you ever tried to place the cursor in the middle of a word, missed by a few letters, tapped again, missed again, and felt personally attacked by your own screen? That frustration makes sense. Fingers are not built for precision work on tiny lines of text. That is why on iPhone and many Android keyboards, you can press and hold the spacebar, then slide left or right to move the cursor more accurately. What feels clumsy with taps becomes much smoother with one simple gesture. The same idea shows up with symbols. On iPhone, most people tap the 1, 2, 3 key, pick a symbol, then tap back to letters. But if you hold the 1, 2, 3 key, slide to the symbol you want, and let go, the phone types that one character and jumps right back to the regular keyboard. And there are more little shortcuts hiding in plain sight. Try holding keys like 0, the dash, or the $sign, and you may find extra symbols sitting underneath them that most people never realize are there. Even finishing a sentence has a shortcut. On smartphone, a quick double tap on the spacebar can drop in a period and a space for you, which sounds tiny until you realize how often you type that pattern every single day. None of these tricks are life-changing. They just make typing feel a little faster, a little smoother, and a lot less annoying. And typing is only one small example. Once you notice that pattern, you start seeing the same kind of hidden design everywhere. Pick up a wired headphone jack and look at the little black rings around the metal plug. Those rings separate contact points, and each section can carry a different signal. One ring can mean mono audio, 2 usually means left and right stereo channels. 3 usually means left, right, and microphone. So yes, just by counting rings, you can tell a lot about what that cable was built to do. That is such a tiny detail, but it helps prevent compatibility problems, bad audio setups, and a whole lot of confusion. Now here is one I love because it feels almost like a hidden feature, the plastic cap on the end of a utility knife. A lot of people assume it is just there to finish the design or cover the end. It isn't. Utility knife blades are segmented so you can snap off the dull tip and expose a fresh, sharp edge. But doing that with your fingers is a fantastic way to create a deeply stupid emergency. That little cap at the back, pull it off, slide it over the used blade segment, and use it to snap the tip off more safely. So the knife has been carrying its own blade snapping tool this whole time. Now go under your sink. That U-shaped bend in the pipe, often called a P-trap or trap, holds a small amount of water after every use. That water acts like a plug between your home and the sewer line. Without it, sewer gas could come right back up through the drain. So the reason that bend exists is not just plumbing being weird, it is a gas barrier, a really important one. And then there is your toothbrush. On many brushes, the colored bristles are not only there to make the thing look less boring, sometimes the darker section helps show the right amount of toothpaste. In others, fading color is your signal that it is worn down and should be replaced. So now you have headphones that communicate through rings, knives that carry their own safety tool, pipes that stop gas with water, and toothbrushes that quietly coach you. And if you think that is smart, here is where the video takes a turn. Because the next design choice is not just helping you use an object, it may be influencing how you feel before you even realize it. Traffic lights feel so obvious now that it is easy to forget someone had to design that system from scratch. Red, yellow, green. And honestly, it is a smart setup. Red grabs attention fast and stands out at a distance, which makes it perfect for stop signals. Yellow works as the warning color, the visual version of something is about to change. And green gives a clear contrast, which matters when people have to make decisions quickly. So yes, part of that is visibility, but color does more than help you see. It also affects how you react. That is why color gets used everywhere people want to influence behavior. Roads, stores, apps, packaging, logos, all of it. Blue, for example, tends to feel calm, stable, and trustworthy. That is a big reason banks, tech companies, and corporate brands use it so much. It feels controlled, reliable, safe. What is interesting is that blue is much less common in food branding. It usually does not trigger appetite the way red, orange, or green can. Part of the reason is simple. In nature, truly blue food is pretty rare, so our brains do not connect blue with eat this the same way. Red does the opposite. Red wants your attention right now. That is why it works so well for stop signs, sale tags, warning labels, and brands built around urgency, food, or energy. And color gets even more interesting once it mixes with the environment around you. Street lighting is a good example. It is not that one color magically controls people. But when lighting shifts from dim yellow-orange tones to brighter, cooler white light, a place can feel clearer, safer, and easier to navigate. And that alone can change how people behave in it. That is the bigger idea here. Color is not mind control, but it absolutely helps shape mood, attention, and behavior. Once you notice that, everyday places start to feel different. Restaurants use color to make food feel more tempting. Stores use it to shape the mood. Apps use it to signal trust, urgency, reward, or danger. At some point, color stops feeling like decoration and starts feeling more like instruction. And that same idea, design affecting you before you even think about it, shows up one more time in the last section. Except this time, it is not about mood. It could matter in an emergency. Let's start with the easy one. That shark fin shape on the roof of your car, that is not just there to make the vehicle look more modern. It usually houses part of the antenna system, radio, GPS, Bluetooth, satellite services, and sometimes cellular communication too. It replaced the old rod antenna because it is cleaner, more durable, and easier to integrate into modern car electronics. So that part is cool. The more interesting one is the headrest. A lot of people think it is mostly there for comfort. Really, it is part of the car's crash protection. In a rear-end collision, the seat and headrest are shaped to control how far your head snaps backward, which helps reduce whiplash. And then there is the part people love talking about online, pulling the headrest out and using the metal posts to break a side window. There is some truth to that, but it is not as simple as the internet makes it sound. Some side windows are made of tempered glass, which can shatter under the right kind of force. Others are laminated, which are much harder to break that way and are becoming more common on newer cars. So the real takeaway here is not your headrest is a magic escape tool. It is that your car's glass matters a lot, and most people have no idea what kind they actually have. And if you ever are dealing with tempered side glass, the edge is usually the weak point, not the center like in the movies. That is what makes this so interesting to me. The shark fin helps the car stay connected. The headrest helps manage your body in a crash. And in the wrong situation, knowing how your own car is built could matter a whole lot more than people realize. Because some of the most important features in your car are not flashy at all. They are just sitting there, waiting for the day you hope never comes. So yeah, the handrail steadying you, the elevator hole waiting for rescue, the knife cap saving your fingers, the pipe blocking sewer gas, colors shaping how you feel, and the headrest that might help you escape one day. None of it is random. Every detail solves a real problem engineers thought about, so you do not have to. So now I want to know, what is the smartest hidden design feature or everyday object function you have ever discovered? Drop it in the comments, I read all of them. If you love this kind of once you see it, you can't unsee it content, subscribe, because the rabbit hole on everyday design goes way deeper than most people think. See you in the next one.